How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews back with a little bit of itty-bitty, hopeful goodness time in form of Bell's Brewing. It is their Lighthearted Ale. Great name. Easy name. Based off Two Hearted and what they do. They announced this not too long ago. This is like eating towards the end of February. This was canned about 3 weeks ago. And basically they did a low-calorie, 110-calorie scaled-down version of their Two Hearted Ale. At least that's what it looks like from the outside. You know, they're basically diving into this kind of low ABV, low-ish calorie kind of beer market. They take pretty much one of the most synonymous kind of labeling and IPA beers known to man. I mean, Two Hearted is essentially kind of up there when it comes to kind of ranked as one of the best beers in the world pretty much year in, year out. And they're kind of taking that branding, scaling it down, and hopefully translating that to a smaller beer. Now, does that mean this is going to taste anything like Two Hearted? In a perfect world, I hope it does. At least I hope it shows some similarities to it. You're going, pretty much cutting the ABV in half, maybe a little bit more than a half at 3.7%. So you're talking about a relatively low ABV beer. Sub 4% ain't nothing to blink an eye at. So yeah, let's just dive into this sucker. I picked this up. I bought this, God, where did I see this? A local place. Not in Jersey, actually, in PA, close to where I work, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be exactly what I want to drink tonight. So we'll see what's what. Label-wise, like I said, it is essentially Two Hearted in a just scaled-down version. And as far as it looks, we're kind of in the same ballpark here. I mean, sure, a skosh lighter, but it has that subtle kind of caramel, crystal malty kind of haziness that you would expect from kind of those Midwest kind of old school, new school kind of IPAs. But dig the can. Beer looks kind of tasty. It has that rich kind of amber kind of hue to it. Just under a pinky finger. Decently creamy. Had a little bit of neurotic bubbles going on. And a little bit of lacing already kind of happening on the edge of the glass. See if we can get a nose. I mean, kind of smells a little bit like Two Hearted in a much smaller package. I mean, you're talking about, I forget what Two Hearted is. I should have looked that up beforehand, but I think it's like 7 and change. So you're in your double IPA realm, and you're talking about, you know, a big kind of pop of that kind of crystal malt with a little bit of caramel malt with that nice kind of citrus and piney, slightly resinous kind of thing, taking that little bit more of an East Coast swing and a little bit of West Coast vibes. You're kind of getting that in here. You get that subtle little sweetness. It's not over the top and not nearly as big as what you get from base Two Hearted. And there's also this subtly kind of nuttiness to it, which I kind of dig. As far as the hops go, yeah, I mean, it has a soft kind of citrus rindiness, a little bit of fleshy sweetness, a little bit of pithy bittering. There's ever so slightest bit of kind of a piney resinous. I mean, very, very minuscule there. But you're also talking, again, 3.7% beer. So in the grand scheme of things, it kind of smells like a smaller version of Two Hearted, a lower ABV version, which is kind of cool. It's what I wanted, and I'm kind of getting it, at least in the nose. Let's dive in, see what she's got. Cheers. I mean, yeah, you're kind of getting it here. Listen, I said it already. Two Hearted is kind of getting towards, well, at least it used to be a 2x4 to the face kind of beer. There's so many more kind of overly aggressive beers nowadays, but when that first kind of launched, it was one of those kind of wow beers when it came to the whole IPA game. In the way it kind of expressed its hops, in combination with that kind of nice, rich kind of caramel, kind of crystal malt thing going on, you're getting all that in here. You're getting that soft little sweetness. You're getting it on the nose. You're getting it in the teeth. You're getting that bitter, slightly resinous, but more kind of orange, pithy kind of bittering with a bit of fleshy sweetness going on there, but on a much smaller scale. A really nice mouthfeel. Carbonation's on point. The only big kind of stark difference between this and the bigger Two Hearted, in perspective, I keep saying that this does not taste like Two Hearted, but you can taste the kind of the lineage of Two Hearted is this nutty kind of malt character coming from it. Where does that come from? I don't know. Maybe I tend to get those a little bit more in like lower ABV beers, or more specifically even non-alcoholic beers, so it could be part of that process. But I think it plays really nicely. I mean, it's a nice chugging Midwest kind of IPA that doesn't really sacrifice a ton. Again, It's not anything close to too hard, but it doesn't sacrifice as much as you would think based on what you're getting on a taste. I think it's drinkable. I think it's chuggable. I think it's damn tasty. I think I might be buying more of this. Let's put it that way. I like it. I think it's fun. It's basically, you know, one of my favorite beers of the summer was Rec League by Harpoon. And there's been some other ones, some really low ABV kind of crushers from Allagash. You know, more specifically, kind of their, what's the one? Tiny House. There have been a couple other ones they've done, River Trip, things like that. And each one of those have kind of wowed me for a couple different reasons. One, because they were low ABV beers that were quite tasty. The Harpoon Rec League had that soft little New England style hazy vibe in a, you know, sub 4% package. Tiny House, much the same, but it had that Allagash yeast characteristic that you're just so synonymous with Allagash, especially in their lower ABV beers. This just has that Midwest kind of Bell's kind of IPA kind of vibe. So it's not so much that this beer is much better than those or lesser than those. I think it's more of a vibe kind of thing. Like, what are you in the mood for? You're in the mood for a hazy. You're in the mood for something a little bit more yeast driven. You're something a little bit more malty or a little bit more Midwest influence as far as hops go. And as far as the low ABV chuggers go, I think this is kind of up there with some of the best ones out there. Let's cut to that chase. Is it? Yes. I like it. I think it's fun. I think it's tasty. 3.7%. Give it to me all day. Value and availability. I think I paid like $11 for a 6 of this. I'm okay with that all day. It'll leave you with, if you like what we like this beer. If you like Two Hearted and you like chuggable, drinkable, low ABV beers, and you understand the kind of scaling down of a beer and what that's going to bring to a beer, this is going to do you all kinds of proper. If you like low ABV hop forward crushers and you can get down with that Midwest style, this is going to do you all day long. Super tasty stuff. Good on you, Bells. Good on you. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Are enjoying a little bit of sub 4% crusher right now. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself as much as I am. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.